Zachary Formwalt, Unsupported Transit. Unsupported Transit is a video of the construction site of the Shenzhen Stock Exchange in China, with a voiceover describing the birth of Edward Muybridge's sequential photographs of horses produced in the 19th century. Through the film, the artist exposes a kind of conspiratorial relationship between capital and video imagery, and takes a deeper look at the problem of the non-representability of capital through images. Muybridge's photos capture the particular moment in which all 4 feet of a horse are seen floating in the air, called unsupported transit, leading to a form of sequential photography known as chronophotography and motivating the birth of motion pictures. Formwalt discovers that the historical form of capitalism likewise changed completely, as illustrated by Muybridge's development of sequential photos, and decades later, the release of the first motion picture, employees leaving the Lumiere factory by the Lumiere brothers, and the formation of joint stock companies. He returns to the construction site of China's Shenzhen Stock Exchange with his history of time-lapse photography, the first photographic technique, noting the parallels created by these 3 historical moments. Time-lapse technique intentionally uses long exposure times to show long-term movements in a relatively short period of time. The technical obstacle of early photography that long exposure times made recording human movement impossible had now become a compositional tool that prevented fast movement from interfering with the slow movement that time-lapse films intended to record. As a result, a time-lapse film allows objects that are not the subject to be excluded from its representation. It is again human movement that disappears, or that can be seen only if you pay particular attention in the video recording of the Shenzhen Stock Exchange construction site. Here, time-lapse technique, considered the best technique by which to record the construction process of large buildings today, colludes with capital, revealing the same methodology as the accumulation of capital, the abbreviated circuit of capital described by Marx, the propagation of capital without ever reaching the commodity stage, money producing more money. In this way, unsupported transit portrays presence as absence. The presence in the photos indicates exactly the absence, the moment that no longer exists. The labor visible only through the traces of its absence, like today's mechanisms of illusory accumulation of capital, conceals the social relations from the image of the world. Formwalt shows that the artist's process of creating images is more relevant to capital than to images.